Welcome to the Bellingham Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for March 4th. The first item on the agenda is for 12 Overlook Drive. And it's a new public hearing. So the applicant is Jacqueline Delarda. Do I have a motion to open?
So moved.
Oh, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay.
And I'll just quickly read the public hearing notice. The Bellingham Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on March 4th, 2021 at 7 p.m. remotely via the Zoom online option for the request of a special permit, section 240-74 for a family apartment on the premises of 12 Overlook Drive, Bellingham, Mass. Assessors map 78, lot 21. The property is zoned residential. Owner and applicant is Jacqueline Delarda, 12 Overlook Drive, Bellingham, Mass. The application may be viewed at Town Clerk's Office, 10 Mechanic Street during regular town hall business hours, or online at the town website on the zoning board page. Anyone wishing to be heard shall attend at the time and place above.
All right. Thanks, Jim. So I see on the call there's Chris Delarda. Is he the son, or who's?
Oh, I'm Jacqueline. I'm here.
Oh, there they are.
There.
You're here.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So you, it looks like in this, so you grew up in the house then, and then you're taking it over from your parents and creating the in-law for them?
Correct.
Okay. And it's going to be, you're just converting the garage into an apartment?
Correct.
Okay. And that's your mom back there?
Yes.
Hi.
I'm Deb Delarda, work for the fire department.
Okay. And so who would the apartment would be for?
My husband and myself,
And his name and?
Stephen.
Okay. Just for the record. Yep.
Sure.
And so you've owned the house for 35 years, and then your daughter and son-in-law?
No, just
Just
daughter.
Just daughter?
I'm just their son. I'm doing the work. I have my contractor license.
He's a contractor license, he's my son.
Oh, cool. Okay.
A little family project.
That's great. So I guess just walk us through it a little bit, what it's going to kind of consist of.
So basically it's a 26 by 26 garage. We're just going to repurpose it and do an in-law apartment. First floor living, so it'll have all the amenities down there. So we're just changing the floor plan and the layout. From the street, all that you're going to see different is no more garage door. It'll be an entry door and some windows. We're changing the layout on the side facing the neighbors. It's going to be some new windows. And the outside exterior of the structure is going to be vinyl sided at the end of the project. So we're going to facelift the whole house on a second permit. But just for now, it's repurposing the garage into an in-law. No additional spaces. And that's about it.
And it's a two-bay then right now, just a two-bay.
Yeah, it's 26 by 26. So it's like just about 3 bays, but it's a double door right now.
Yeah, it's good size.
Yep.
And so I imagine it's going to have a kitchen,
Kitchen,
bathroom.
full bath, bedroom, and living room.
Okay. And is it going to be connected to the rest of the house?
It currently is. Yep. There's a breezeway right now that's part of the garage that we're gonna take into space of the apartment, and the house and the garage will be connected by a new fire door at that time. So there'll still be a connected space, but private.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Definitely want to commend you for doing that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
great. Take care of your parents and.
Talk to me in 2 years.
Yeah, it's not going to take that long. It's going to be a fun one.
So I think I'll open it up to the board to see if they have any questions.
If I may, Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
Two questions. One is there sufficient parking for all of you?
Yeah, there currently is sufficient parking for everybody, and you're probably going to take 1 or 2 parking spots out of the property when we do this, just to repurpose the land, possibly for a shed. But there's currently 6 spots in that driveway. So there's 3 cars there, and there'll be 3 cars.
And then is the septic sufficient for the extra load?
Yeah, it is. It's a 4-bedroom septic,
Yeah.
currently designed. It's a 4-bedroom. It was done about 8 years ago, I believe. maybe even longer than that. I remember it being done. I was working. So yeah, in the past 10 years, a septic's been done, 4-bedroom design.
And the
Thank
house is
you.
currently listed as a 3-bedroom, but 1 bedroom is specific just for an office space. So we're still well within that 4-bedroom.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I'm actually good, Mr. Chairman. I was questioning the parking. Looking on the Google map, looks like they got a dirt parking off to the driveway too, but I'm all good. It's good purpose.
Okay. I guess, does anyone want to make a motion then, or any discussion?
Is there anybody here from the public, first of all?
Oh, good point. Yep, I'll open it up to the public. Is there any neighbors or anyone else that has any thoughts, wants to speak?
Not seeing anyone raising their hands or unmuting or anything like that.
Motion to close the hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to grant the permit for the special apartment as requested.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that passes. So Jim, I guess they have to take it to the registry of deeds, is that?
Yep, so I'll draft the decision. Laura will be in touch with you about getting it recorded. Once it's, well, there will be a brief, a 20-day appeal period for a special permit. And once the 20 days expires, Laura will contact you with the decision. You'll get it recorded at the registry of deeds, provide us with proof of recording, and then you're on your way. They're good. This permit's good for 5 years. Then you come back for a renewal. It's not a public hearing, but it's just in 5 years to say, you know, we're still using the space for the same purpose, essentially.
Excellent. Thank you guys very
All
much.
right, thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is continuation for Lakeview Estates. I'll hand it over to Peter Gabriel.
Thanks, Brian. Jim, what do we got happening tonight?
All right, so since our last meeting, there's been quite a bit, or last time we met with Lakeview Estates, there's been quite a bit of progress. It's been about 2 months. And since that time, they've been before conservation a couple times. I see Sean Malone on here who can certainly provide you with any updates on the plan. But it's been vetted by our peer review engineer. They provided essentially thumbs up. It's a good plan. We've actually went back and forth quite a bit over the past 2 months to get to this point. The conservation agent had relayed to me this afternoon that she has completed the order of conditions, so the decision for the conservation to approve this drainage design, and they meet on Wednesday to get that done. Also in your package, you have the schedule for construction purposes, and I touched base with Sean just the other day, so just to make sure there was no changes. They're still on target for that very same construction schedule we talked about 2 months ago, given that conservation has given it their approval, or are about to give it their approval in a timely manner. I don't know if Sean has anything else for us.
Sean, you have anything for us tonight?
No, I think Jim summed it up. But as he mentioned, if any of the board members want any additional detail or questions, I'm happy to try to answer those.
One question I might have is there a possibility that it might start sooner or not?
Probably not. Once we get the approval, then we have to order the materials, get everything lined up. Right now, there's still snow and frost in the ground, so I think we're gonna stick to that. I think it was April 17th start date.
Yeah. Anyone else? Brian?
No, I think if Jim's reasonably satisfied with everything, I assume there's been no additional complaints by the neighbors, Jim, or anything like that.
I have not received any recently.
Okay. No, I have no questions.
Okay. So what do we got in front of us tonight, Jim?
So there's
an extension of this permit again?
Yes, I would say an extension of the permit. I would, right now, looking at phase two, so at the last meeting, you granted a continuation of 2 months and you released 12 building permits. Right now, we're still in phase two. Those 12 permits have been pulled. They're actively being worked on. There's 31 remaining building permits to be issued. And they're on hold unless this board wants to grant some additional permits. Obviously, my only recommendation or caveat would be I think 31 is a large number, and we would like to see the drainage get completed, obviously. So I would just ask maybe a recommendation of not all 31, if at all possible.
Plus, even with the 12 that we did issue, look, was it last month or the month before? The occupancy permits are being held back till this is completed, correct?
Yeah, at this time, there's no request for occupancies.
I thought we made that part of the condition.
I'm not certain, but we can certainly talk about that tonight. I don't believe we had that in the condition. I can pull it back up.
It wasn't in the minutes, actually, Jim.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we did talk about that.
Okay.
While he's looking that up, I certainly take input from the board to what your thoughts are on the remaining permits. If anyone's got any questions or comments.
I would agree with Jim, if I may, Mr. Chairman. I would agree with Jim not giving out all the permits at once, perhaps just withholding, maybe a couple handfuls until we're confident that, they feel comfortable with the duration of days to complete the tasks in the schedule, and also that they meet them. So in case, we'd hope that they meet each date. And if they seem to be going along with the schedule and everything's working out, then we can, I'm more than happy to release more.
Brian, any thoughts?
I would say that, Jim, so they're coming back in May, the May meeting?
It's certainly up to the board. I did look back. I don't have anything referencing no occupancy, so we should have that discussion tonight if there was to be with a holding of occupancy permits. And again, it's up to the board. Continuation could be either to the April meeting or the May meeting. Looking at the time frame, depending on what you guys discussed this evening. Some substantial progress to the construction would take place prior to the May meeting. The May 6th meeting looks like a logical continuation point, but depending on your guys' stance here.
So it's good. I'm sorry, Brian.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
So with that in mind, I would say, I'm encouraged by the progress that we've been making, and I'm optimistic that will continue. I think that we did 12 the last go round 2 months. I think perhaps another 12, continue it to May, and then see how we're doing with the schedule. Unless anyone feels strongly differently.
Brian, I don't, and if I'm not mistaken, the only thing really holding up these permits is just getting this drainage done. If we can release some tonight, bring them back in May for a few more, but hopefully by the end of our June 1st meeting, we can just let them go to town and finish this up. That to me would be encouraging. I don't think at the May meeting we could just bluntly open everything up because we're still in the early stages of the construction.
I'd be more comfortable with a little less than 12, but I'm thinking in my head 8, that would give an even 20 that they would have.
It's funny, I was doing the math, I was thinking 10, 10, and 10, but we released 10, and if things are going well in May, we could talk about releasing another 10, and then June, they've got their permits, they're good to go. I'm not sure how anyone else feels about that.
I'm good with the 10.
I'm in the same boat
I'm
with the
sorry.
10. If that,
Not to interrupt, but if I could just add, back when the cease and desist was issued last year, it was the expectation of the board to release the cease and desist was for the applicant to show progress on the NOI. And I think the issuance of an order of conditions next Wednesday is beyond the definition of progress on the NOI. That's a completed NOI. So to now move the goalposts and say, okay, now the progress that we're looking for is for the actual work to be done on the drainage, when we now have to sit on our hands for another month until construction season begins. We could, if not for the weather and the cold, we could start this construction in 2 or 3 weeks, or in 2 weeks. So I would ask that the board consider lifting the cease and desist so that we can get these houses built, get these buyers that some have been waiting since August now, for us to even begin construction on their homes and finish the development, which I think is what everybody wants. And I think that we've shown significant progress. You can tie the cease and desist back into the construction schedule. You don't have to relinquish control over this project or the building permit.
Angela, I'll be honest with you. It's a very valid argument. And if we hadn't been doing oh my God, we got to fix this, over the past 5 years, I'd be in agreement with you. But unfortunately, in my eyes, and the board can make their votes too, until we see this done, I mean, we've been going over and over this for 5 years.
Yeah, and
It's all been a stopgap measure every time you're in front of us.
Yeah, Mr.
So,
Chairman,
there's progress, but it's on paper.
And Angela, I think if you look back at our agreement with the Housing Appeals Committee, we also stated that this would be the similar format where you show progress, we'll release X amount of permits, and ultimately the full amount of permits would come at the end of the day once that drainage is actually in the ground. So I think the board is sticking to what they had told you in December.
Right, and we discussed that with the Housing Appeals Committee, but never came to any agreement.
Angela, as a board, we do have options. We could release it all to you. We could continue down this path, or we could release no more to you. Depends on how the board feels tonight. It's all within our boundaries. So, I think you guys are showing progress. I think we're willing to work with you, but this has to get done.
Well, then, if I could ask the board for 12 more building permits, that will cover everybody whose houses went under agreement through the end of October. And I think that would go a long way for our buyers. And I just ask that you consider, these people I get emails every day, my rate lock is expiring, what can I do? We've had people backing out because their rate locks expired. People are in tough situations right now, and there's been no flooding incidents on site. There's been no issues with the neighbors, as Jim said. You're not just punishing Fafford. There are innocent bystanders here. So if you could do 12 more instead of 10 more, and that would get 2 more months until the next meeting, I think 12 would go a long way for our buyers, at least. Thank you.
Peter, if I could say one thing.
Right ahead, Brian.
So this exercise has not been brought about by the town, and it's not, the direction and the course of events that happened since we've been discussing this is not for the intention or the purpose of punishing anyone. It's to solve a problem, and the only way we've ever gotten any traction to get anything done and completed is to incentivize the applicant to do it expeditiously for their own self-interest. And they have expressed no desire, as far as I can tell, to be good neighbors to the people that live there, people that have bought property from them. And this is not about let's help the poor people that have purchased these properties. This falls at the hands of Fafford. They created this situation. We're trying to clean up the mess. So it's very offensive to hear the applicant to say, well, we got to help these people, when the applicant has not been interested at all in helping anyone but themselves throughout this entire process. It's really, really troubling to hear someone paraphrase what's going on like that. Like we're holding it up, and that this has all been the work of the town. So
And likewise, I think it's offensive for you to speak to the sentiments of Baffert employees to say that we do not care about the neighbors or the neighborhood or the project or our buyers. I think that's offensive too. So we're on the same page.
Angela, actions speak louder than words.
And we just went through a very expensive NOI process, and we posted $9,000 escrow with Jim to pay BSC's fee. I mean, we're doing everything that the board has asked us and the Conservation Commission has asked us to correct this problem.
Finally, you're doing everything that needed to be done to correct this problem.
And I will add that part of this problem is not Fafford's, it's Silver Lake Road, which is not a totally Fafford created problem. So we are also funding the fix on the behalf of the town. And if that's not good faith, I don't know what is.
Well, we'll agree to disagree on what is and what is not good faith.
So as a board, I'll put out this to the board members. I'm not sure how comfortable I am releasing too many more. We could release a few. We could release a handful, even if we did the 12 number, but I wouldn't be comfortable releasing more in May till this work is done, or we could just release no more. So I kind of like to get the input of the board, if you don't mind.
So I would be comfortable with Artie's proposal of 8.
Ryan?
I was comfortable with 10, personally.
Are you still comfortable with 8?
I'm happy. 8 or 10 is fine with me.
Jason, we haven't heard from you tonight. What are your thoughts?
Yes, how you doing? Sorry, I'm just catching up with this whole thing that we've got going on. I'd say 8 or 10 would be good.
Okay. Jim, we have anyone in the public we need to hear from tonight on this before we make a motion?
Yeah, if anybody wishes to be heard, you can either raise your hand, unmute, or hit the chat function, and I can recognize you to the chairman.
Brian.
Yeah.
Not seen anything. Oh, yeah, Brian, sorry.
You again.
Yeah, Brian, right? 99 Silver Lake Road. Yeah, again, I mean, my concern is just more the making sure it gets done on schedule. So I think, like Brian said, incentivizing them seems to be the only thing that works. So I think whatever discretion that you guys feel comfortable, but just kind of, kind of dangling that kind of carrot that when you guys come back in May or in June, that they have something to kind of give them to hold their feet to the fire, to hold to the schedule. But okay. That's it.
All right. Yeah, no, we need to see this work get done. Anyone's got a motion?
I move to grant for 8 more.
Sorry, we have somebody unmuted. Nope, never mind. Looks like an accident.
Okay. I move to grant for 8 more permits.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Do we want them back here for the May meeting? I would think they'd want to be for the May, was it May 4th? No, April, yeah, May.
Would the board consider bringing it back next month to see if there's any additional progress made?
Except that they weren't going to start until mid-April, so.
Right, they're gonna start on.
I don't see the reason.
I mean, I gotta ask Sean, is there any shot of getting shovels in the ground before then?
Sure. There's a shot if, if the temperatures in March kind of crank up and things warm up and dry out, we don't want to go in there when it's all kind of melty slop too. So the answer to your question is yes, there is a chance.
Okay.
Oh,
What do you guys think?
if that's the case, we should try again for next month then, I guess.
Agreed.
Okay.
So I don't want to be but there isn't going to be any substantial completion of any work next month.
Well, I mean, that's 2 weeks ahead of their schedule.
I'm happy to do it, but
May not be productive.
Yeah. Is there any way we can, I hate to say play it by ear, but put them on the agenda and let Sean get back to us as we get closer? And if there has been any actual, shovels in the ground and getting work done, allow them the opportunity at least.
And that was going to be my suggestion, Mr. Chair. If we put us on the agenda, I'm in regular contact with Jim. Certainly have him updated as well as the commission as to when the work actually starts. So if we come, a week outside of the hearing date and nothing is started, we'll request a continuance to the May meeting.
And that could give you an opportunity too that, if for some reason there is progress in early April, we are meeting via Zoom. And if there is an ability to meet maybe in mid-April, you could continue it to that date. Just a suggestion.
I'm good with that if you guys are.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Good.
You good? All right. So hopefully we'll see you for the April meeting.
We probably need a motion to extend, right, Jim, and to continue.
Extend and continue to April 1st.
Motion to extend and continue on April 1st meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. So passes. Sean, good luck, man. I hope you get to work this month.
Yes, us too. Thanks a lot. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
It's all you, Bri.
Yeah. Nice job, Peter. So I guess it's just minutes.
Actually, I want to bring up a topic before we get to minutes.
Sure.
I know I did talk to Jim about it too. The feeling of going back to the town hall for our meetings. Now that things are opening up a little bit. Any thoughts?
What's the status of it, I guess, Jim? What, according to the health inspector?
Yep. So we're basically back to summer COVID. You were welcome to return back to the Arcan meeting room. Some of the boards are meeting right now in the Arcan meeting room. It would just be the board though. We have the big screen TV set up so the general public can click in via Zoom and you would be able to interact with them there. We still have the plastic guards up and you are required to wear a mask. But yeah, so it's optional at this time. You can do it either remote or in person. And we can even do a hybrid of, if some board members want to come in person and some don't, we can have that ready for you too. So it's just at the, pleasure of the board, whatever you guys prefer.
So do the applicants come in at all then, or they're remote?
It's right now we're doing almost exclusively remote, but if it's an applicant that, it would be beneficial to interact with in person, kind of much like what we did with the apartments back in the summertime. We can have that conversation with them. I think it's right now, I think how we did in the summer was it was an optional, we extended the offer to the applicant. Many of them preferred to do it remotely, but some may prefer to come in.
Is there anything going on for our next meeting at this point?
Yes, I believe we have at least one application in April. I can't recall now off the top of my head what it is. Oh, it's a variance, a setback variance. And then we have this, and we may have another 40B in the near term as well that we have to deal with, which I'll
We're at.
I'll get into that at some point soon.
The Earth,
What's that?
I thought with the Curtis Apartments, we were.
Yeah, there's a long story to go along with that. But I can talk to, yeah, we'll have a discussion about that at another point.
I got you. I was curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I brought that up because, you know, with the governor, quote, opening businesses at 100%, how everyone else felt about that.
Well, I like your suggestion, Jim, that leave it up to the individual whether they want to come in or not.
Yeah, I would say just a little bit of notice, maybe just a week in advance notice if if any board member does want to come in person, then just so I can make sure that we have it all set up correctly for everyone.
Well, it seems like it would be easier for you if we still did remote for a while. It doesn't seem like we're going to have anything that's really pressing for the next meeting. So if there's nothing really pressing, I'm happy with the Zoom.
Yeah, we could target maybe the May meeting to maybe try and get back in person and regroup in April and discuss it if that's what you guys are thinking.
Gonna get Addie vaccinated first.
I'm comfortable with both, but if it's easier for Jim via Zoom when there's no applicant in person or there's not a lot on the agenda, I'm comfortable with sticking to Zoom. But if we have an applicant coming in person, I'd be more than happy to be present.
Jim, can we have it at your house and you can cater it?
I don't know about catering. You can bring food, and
okay.
I'll let you in the door.
There you go.
Sorry to disrupt you, Brian. Go ahead.
No, I agree with Ray and Brian. So I think I think we should do like Art said, just kind of do Zoom for the next one and then see for May.
Okay, great.
If that makes sense. But
Certainly.
cool. Then I guess just minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing.
Peter, did you have a question on the minutes with regard to the occupancy permits?
Oh yeah, geez, thanks for that. I could have sworn we had discussed that at the last meeting with Lakeview that the occupancy permits would be held until the.
So my notes reference it, but I thought we landed on that it wasn't going to be held because it would put the building department in a difficult bind when at that point. So it's either allow for them to get the building permits or not, and I think that's where we landed on less building permits. At least that's according to my notes, and my letter to Tim reflects that too.
So we don't want Tim to work too hard. I got you.
That's the goal. We like to have him put his feet up. No big deal.
Okay. Other than that, I had nothing. Thanks, Pat.
Okay. I did read through the minutes. I didn't find anything, so I'm gonna move to accept the minutes.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Oh, and I guess, is there anything else that anyone else wanted to discuss? I guess the meeting's already closed, but I was talking to Jim before, just when I gave him a call, and one of the bad things, I guess, with Zoom is you don't have that kind of period after the meeting to just discuss general topics that are going on in town. But so I didn't know if anyone had anything else that just of interest they wanted to talk about, but
Find out what's going on about 140. That's all.
yeah.
What's going on with 140?
Exactly. What's going on?
Which one? Which part? Just so you know, though.
Back in October, nothing's gotten done.
What, the apartments?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did have a conversation with them recently. They're working on, just like Lincoln, actually, the warehouse across the street. They're working on investors. They were hoping to wrap that up this winter, but it's taking a little bit longer apparently. So they're still saying to me that this spring is a go. It's just, I think they would have preferred to be moving ground right now, but looks like it's going to be a little bit later than they were thinking. For most of you guys, though, coming down 140, just a heads up, Lincoln Properties, so the warehouse, we went through this whole issue with water pressure, and we had told them they're going to need to put a larger pipe in the ground, and they kind of pushed it aside, thinking that they could do it just fine. And it turns out that they now need to come back and put a bigger pipe in the ground because they don't have the proper water suppression or fire suppression. So unfortunately, the stretch from their driveway towards Blackstone Street, they're going to have to dig back up. They'll have to pave it over again, but they have to dig it back up, put a 12-inch line in, and then pave it back over. So that's going to happen probably in the next few weeks.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
Would have been
That's a
nice to
shame.
get
That
back.
brand new road, they have to,
Yep.
Asphalt companies need business too, Brian.
I know, but it's never going to be the same,
Yeah. They don't patch it the same.
All right, cool.
We good?
I think so.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.